Forsaken is one of the most known Roblox games on the platform, but for all the wrong reasons. From a history of owners who were complete weirdos, to the fanbase themselves having a bad reputation, there is a reason for Forsaken's bad rep. But to nobody's surprise, the Forsaken community has drama yet again, except this time with the new owners, and today we will be checking it out. Hi, my name is Ducky, I make Roblox documentaries, so make sure to subscribe with notifications and hype up this video. I'm also trying to grow my Instagram. If you could follow me over there, that would be highly appreciated. And I'm sorry if I sound like a dying duck. I'm kind of sick right now, so yeah, that's why my voice is sounding like that. Anyway, Forsaken is a Roblox game that has over 3.5 billion total visits, and it used to be one of the biggest games on the platform, up there with games like Steal a Brainrot and Grow a Garden, but it has since fell off, not even getting over 100,000 concurrent players at one time. This could be due to the community's bad reputation, or maybe how controversial the previous owner would be. If you somehow haven't heard of that drama, it is surrounding the previous owner, whose name is Soul Driven Love, who would get into controversy over and over again before eventually being forced out of the community and being exposed for doing some very bad things. However, the new owners, Hitoko and Basil, seemed pretty alright at first, but now people are starting to find out that they are not as trustworthy as we first thought. Like, I pray for the Forsaken community. If you're just a normal dude who plays the game, you must be punching the air right now. You're surrounded by weirdo fans who ship different characters and them, and owners who cannot be trusted to simply run a game without being hella controversial. It's unfair to the normal and non-weird players, and quite frankly it ruins it for the other people, which has caused many of the previous loyal players to quit playing the game altogether. But like I said, the new owners are starting to become really controversial. But why? So this would all start when people on Twitter started to notice that Soul Driven's alt account that went under the name Vincent was still a contributor in the Forsaken group, specifically as a Forsaken community contributor, which, as you know, shouldn't be the case, ever since she was cancelled from the community. This had been going on for a while, but people only started to notice when they started to check the Forsaken group and noticed Soul's alt account having a high rank in said group. This made not only Forsaken fans, but even regular Roblox fans extremely angry at the developers and even the new owners over at Forsaken for even allowing Soul to have any involvement with Forsaken after she got exposed for being a horrible person. This also felt like a stab in the back to Forsaken fans who had trusted the new owner Hitoko, who would state on Twitter earlier this year that they would be working on being more transparent with who is working on Forsaken because the community was already skeptical about Soul still being a part of the team. This was after they announced that Soul had sold the game and left the development team for good. So when people found out Hitoko was lying, you can imagine just how mad they would get. TLDR, people were very upset with the new owners of Forsaken, Hitoko and Basil, for even allowing Soul to have any involvement with their game after they promised to be transparent with the community when Soul got cancelled and sold the game off. But it looked like Soul had still been involved with the Forsaken dev team, or at least on the game itself. On many occasions, Hitoko would promise the community that Soul had no involvement, so seeing Soul's alt account literally having a rank in the Forsaken group, it felt like Hitoko was lying this entire time. Even in September, Hitoko would tweet out saying, and to reiterate a previous statement I made, Soul is not involved in the development process of Forsaken in any way. It is left up to myself, Basil, leads and contributors. But obviously if we go back to what we were looking at before, Soul's alt account Vincent is still a ranked member in the Forsaken group as a community contributor and still has involvement with the game. This shows us that Hitoko and maybe even Basil clearly had never cut ties with Soul despite what Soul was exposed for, and despite promising the community to be more transparent and saying countless times that Soul was not involved with the game. However, according to Hitoko's new statement, Soul's account may be involved with Forsaken, but apparently Soul isn't involved with the game anymore, stating this on Twitter. This was only done due to Roblox's policies being iffy in regards to a handful of things, something we've been sorting out for months. We've tried for 6 months to find workarounds to no avail. Soul does not work nor contribute to the game in any way. Hope this adds clarification, but I feel like with Hitoko saying that they would be more transparent about the issue, this maybe should have been stated before people found out about Soul's alt account listed as a contributor to Forsaken, because you can't really be surprised that people got mad when they found out. So basically what Hitoko is saying here is Soul may not be involved in the game at all, but her account must be listed under the Forsaken group in order for Soul to still get paid from the game, which is a whole other situation in itself. People are angry that Soul is even getting paid from Forsaken at all, all, considering what she got exposed for. But the truth is that Soul is entitled to 25% of Forsaken's revenue because that was a part of the deal when she sold the game over to the new owners, meaning that no matter what happens, Soul will still get paid from Forsaken, whether she is a part of the community or not. So Soul needs to have that contributor role in the Forsaken group in order to get that 25%, which she still owns of Forsaken revenue. However, the Forsaken fans are still skeptical on whether Haitoko is telling the truth or not because of not being truthful in the past, which is fair considering Soul has had this weird relationship with Forsaken ever since selling the game, and it's felt like, at least to the die-hard Forsaken fans, that she has never truly left, despite Haitoko saying that Soul has no involvement. But what if I told you that Haitoko may have a solution in order to get Soul removed for good from Forsaken? This would all start when a Discord message would get leaked to the public from Haitoko, where they said if we wanted to, we could jump ship with a new group and everything, and Soul wouldn't see a dime. This would basically be done by Haitoko and Basil making a whole new Forsaken game, group, and dev team, and starting from scratch to where Soul has no rights to earn any money from the game itself. However, there is problems with doing this, and we would eventually find out what problems Haitoko was talking about in this screenshot, detailing that Basil and I have full legal stature to jump ship with the team and name a game something like Forsaken, or go back to the original name like Damnation or something like that. The problem? Roblox. There is no promise that Forsaken will pop off again. Hell, having some internal people at Roblox who have leaked things to me have told me that Forsaken popping off, as it did, was genuinely a stroke of luck, despite how much they love the game now. Basically, what they are saying here is that creating a whole new game would most likely lose a lot of players that they would never be able to get back, because there is no guarantee that this new version of Forsaken, without Soul, would have the same success as when the game first blew up. I think if they were to go ahead with this, a sequel would be the only option, but like they said, it would be extremely lucky for the sequel to blow up like the original game did, and they would also have to put in twice as much time and effort in. This would ultimately get rid of Soul and her 25% revenue split from the game. So what do you guys think they should do? Keep Soul so they get paid the same, or potentially go broke and risk killing the game entirely with a new version of the game where Soul earns nothing from it? But in all honesty, I don't think Haitoko or Basil are willing to give up that money in order to get rid of Soul. And a lot of the community also think they should go ahead with this to stop Soul from leeching money off the game. But like I said, that would mean potentially losing out on a lot of money for themselves, which I don't think they're prepared to do. There is also a lot more drama being released about Haitoko every other day it seems, which Guamgo just made a video about, so I highly urge you to go and watch that after this one. I will link it in the pinned comment, and yeah, it's not looking so good, boys and girls. I think there is a lot of problems with Forsaken at the moment, the previous owner being a completely terrible person but still earning money from the game, the new owners losing trust within the community, and even Forsaken fans being labeled as weirdos who are obsessed with shipping characters and making weird fanfic of the game. I think it's only a matter of time before we see the downfall of Forsaken, but you know, I could be wrong, and maybe Haitoko does the right thing in order to get rid of Soul, but like I said, I don't know if that would happen. Before you click off, check out my Instagram, make sure to subscribe and like the video, join the Discord for updates about the situation or the channel, but other than that, make sure to have a good day or night, and I will see you next upload.